All right, it's Saturday, August 16th, and I'm going to try to be a little bit more consistent with the daily updates, but let's see what's going on today. All right, so I'm out here, and by the way, this is the penetrating concrete sealer product that I used on this whole top concrete pour. Again, the consistency is like water. It has no smell. I put it into one of those spray bottles where you pump it up and then you can spray it. And then I basically injected it as best I could along this crack along the bottom, and then did a wide spray along the top surface. So I did 2 coats of that. I don't know how effective it is. I'm not really seeing any difference at all. So I don't know. I'm going to say maybe it's not really worth it. I don't know. But that's what I used. I'm sure there's other products out there. You may want to avoid this one. Anyway, I did get this other concrete sealer. Like I said, it comes in a caulk tube, and you just squeeze it out with the caulk gun. And I did put it into that crack along here. I got on the end, and then I got about a third of the way down along this edge here, and I did all the cracks that I could see up to about a third of the way down. And I like it. It's got a great consistency to it. When you squeeze it out, it's really easy to kind of spread out and get into cracks. It's almost like, well, it's like caulk, but even smoother than caulk. I mean, it's really, really easy to work with. And it looks like it dries within about an hour or so. This has been a couple of hours, and it seems to be fairly hard. But it says it's, what does it say here? Concrete siliconized filler and sealant, waterproof and flexible. So I'm assuming it does have some sort of flexibility to it so that it can move with the concrete if it shifts or expands and contracts with temperature. So we're going to see. I'm going to need probably, you can see I'm almost out of this one here. I'm probably going to need 3 of those tubes to do this whole side. And the stuff isn't cheap. It's about $9 a tube. There's actually even more expensive ones at Lowe's, but I went with this one. I kind of like it, so I'll just continue using this one. Hopefully with the next big rain. Surprisingly, we haven't had any rain, even though the weather forecast said, pretty much 100% chance that we're going to get rain sometime during the day. We haven't had any rain. So, but with the next rain, boy, I hope I don't see any moisture inside the Quonset hut. Now, with this one, I did a little experiment. Like I said, I was going to use the Bondo to do a fillet around here. Well, I decided to try using that caulk or the concrete sealant as the fillet and kind of make that transition between the building and the concrete edge here a little less harsh. So we'll see. I also put a little bit over that hole there. I don't know, man. That hole is still there. Good God. I swear to God, I don't know how it could possibly still be there. 2 coats of Bondo and then the sealant over top. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but I'm going to stick a little bit more concrete sealant over top of that when we're done here, because that thing's really bugging my ass. So, okay, that's what got done with the concrete out here. And then I did get a 3rd coat of paint on every place that you see painted here. So third coat, third coat, third coat, everything's third coat where it's painted. So I'm done with that and just need to deal with up top here. And again, I'll have to get up there, I'm gonna have to set up the scaffolding, and that's another day. And this morning they came bright and early, 10:30 a.m., picked up the garage doors and took them away. And so I'm still doing some research on which garage door or which company to go with. This time I have a little bit more knowledge, so I'm going, before I actually order, I'm going to ask for specs on the hinges, what they look like, how they attach between the panels of the garage door, and also, you know, what type of seal does it use at the bottom panel of the garage door between it and the concrete. So I'm assuming there's different methods of sealing the garage door between the bottom panel and the concrete. So I really want to get an idea of, you know, what methods are used, and then I can decide, you know, which garage door to go with. And also I want to go with those upgraded hinges. So they're going to have to show me how the hinges attach between the panels so I can verify that the green hinges will be compatible. Oh, and finally, as I mentioned before, it's got to be out of the box compatible with a side mounted or wall mounted garage door opener. Okay, next let's talk about this. This is the shelf unit. I've got it all screwed together. I'm waiting for a couple more casters. I've got a couple of casters that I had on hand, put them on there. I got a couple more for down here and over here coming probably on Monday, so I'll get those installed, and then all I need to do is put the 1/2-inch plywood on the 3 shelves and I should be good to go. I think it came out pretty good. I think I can build one of these easily in one day if I have all the materials and stuff. So I've got a pile of lumber here. I'm probably going to build another one of these. Maybe I'll go with a 5-foot wide one, see how that works out. But this one I think is going to work out really well. So yeah, I mean, it's not difficult to cut these pieces and assemble it. I mean, the toughest part of assembling this is holding the 2x4s together while you're drilling and screwing them together. I mean, that's really the most time-consuming part of this whole build. So, but other than that, it's really very standard stuff. Okay, then let's talk about this light over here. I've got this kit. It was actually one of these, so there's enough of these little light bars to make another one of these 2 octagons or hexagons together, and then there's still 2 remaining. So I might be able to get a couple more individual light bars to make a third one for mounting up in the middle part of the ceiling. This one will go there, the second one will go here, and then again I'll have to probably get a couple more light bars to finish making one for the center. But this is what they look like. They're just very, very super light. I mean, they weigh nothing, and they have these connectors here that you just pop it into, and that's it. And then I made these little bars that I screwed. There's a little screw hole right there on these, and I just screwed it in 3 places or 2 places, there, 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 and there. And so it holds it all together, and then I'll just hang this from the ceiling. And the way it lights up is they give you this cord, which is, it plugs in. If you don't have a light bar plugged in here, you can plug this cord in, and then it just has a regular 2-prong electrical plug that you can plug into an electrical outlet. So what I did was, because they're going to be on the ceiling, I bought at Harbor Freight one of the cheapest extension cords you can get. It's just 16 gauge. Normally when I buy an extension cord, I only buy the 12 gauge, but this is only going to power this super lightweight light bar. It's not going to draw much power at all. So I went with the cheaper option to get power to it. So I'll use this to run all the way down to an outlet somewhere, you know, lower over here when I finally get power in the building. And then, you know, like I said, I got enough of these bars here to do some more underneath there, to do one more of these. So I'll have two that I can get put up almost immediately as soon as I get the hardware to hang them from the ceiling. All right, well, that's it for Saturday, and you know, I'll keep pushing forward, and probably going to try and get the rest of that concrete stuff on the northern side tomorrow, as long as we don't have massive rain. And it will be very interesting to see if we get any moisture over here. This was one of the places right here that I was getting moisture coming through. So now we've got 2 coats of sealant plus the concrete crack sealer plus the second coat of Bondo. We'll see what happens. Oh, and one more thing, this shelf system here, one of the reasons I wanted to build modular shelves was that if I ever needed to get access to the back side of the building there at the bottom, maybe I got a leak or a hole or something that needs to be repaired, these can just roll right out and boom, I got direct access to the back side of the building. So that makes it pretty convenient. You know, you're storing stuff and then, okay, I need to get behind there, just roll it right out and do what you need to do. So hopefully that's going to work out pretty well. All right, talk to you in the next one. It is Tuesday, August 19th. Thought I'd do a quick morning update before I get started for the day. Just wanted to cover a couple of things I got done on Sunday and Monday. So let's flip around. All right, we are outside northern face of the Quonset hut. I've got all of the concrete sealer all along this crack, which is really just the seam between this upper concrete pour and the slab. So that's all done all the way along. And I've also got all of the visible cracks that I could see. I put the concrete sealer on those as well. So this side, the northern side, is mostly done, except for maybe I'll do another coat of Bondo, or maybe I'll try to use the Bondo to do the little fillet along each of these ribs. So the experiment that I did, where I put the concrete sealer caulk material along here, was a complete failure. It basically had zero or no adhesion to the Bondo. So I was able to, you know, a day later come in and just literally peel it right off. So there was, again, no adhesion to the Bondo. So that's a shame, because that would have been a nice, easy solution. So probably have to go with a Bondo solution, because we know that Bondo sticks to Bondo and concrete. So that would adhere both there and there. So we'll see. This seems to be doing okay. I mean, you know, I don't know how it bonds to the concrete. The only thing I can say is that because there's a lot of micro cracks and crevices and stuff, That's what this stuff gets into and holds that way. I don't think there's any kind of chemical bonding between this and the concrete. It's just a, friction based or, get into the crevice and hold on type bond between the caulk and the concrete. The Bondo, on the other hand, well, that's not true. The Bondo probably does the same thing, but it seems to really bond well to metal and to concrete. With the concrete, it's probably doing the same thing. It's probably just getting in the crevices and holding on tight. And on the metal, probably the same thing. I don't think there's any kind of chemical bonding going on there. I could be wrong, but yeah. In any case, it sticks extremely well, so that's a good thing. So the story continues on the Bondo and the crack filling. So let's move around to the other side. I started to do the second coat of Bondo on the southern face. Move this out here. So I've got, I don't know how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them done. So I still got a ways to go. I ran out of Bondo. Actually, I have a little left, but it's not really enough to make it worth setting up and moving along here. So I think there's some more coming today. Because we've got dry weather, I may switch gears and just try and get as much of this done as possible. But it's a terrible job. I can only deal with maybe like 5 or 6 of these, and then the fumes really start to get to me. So I got to put it down and move on to something else, at least for a couple hours. We'll see how the weather turns out today, and if the Bondo shows up and what time it shows up. I mean, it might not even get here today, or it might get here, like 4:30 in the afternoon. So that may not be enough time to really get much done. All right, next I have cut these light posts. I'm going to call them light posts. These are the ones that are going to get mounted vertically on the front of the Quonset hut. There's 3 different sizes. This is the 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5 versions, and they'll be level along the bottom, and they'll get mounted to the front of the Quonset hut with these black iron pipe fittings. So we got a fitting here, and there'll be a fitting there, and then there'll be a pipe that's 6 inches, and then another fitting mounted to the building. And that will be a conduit for wires to go through, because there'll be flush mounted lights into the wood here and here. They're just little LED lights, and they will face back towards the building and reflect the light off of the building. So this is going to be interesting to see how I can wire it up. I might split it between the sides because it's just going to be easier, but I think I'm going to have to cut like a groove between these 2 mounting points. There's going to be a 1-inch hole here and a 1-inch hole here that the light actually sits into, but they have to get a wire between them. So I might like cut a channel between them and then get a piece of wood to put back in there and cover it back up and glue it. Still haven't decided on the exact method of that, but that's going to take a little bit of time because I got to do it on all of these. I mean, there's 2 lights here, there's 3 lights on that one, and 4 lights on that one. So that's a lot of cutting and repairing to do. So yeah, it's going to be a long-term project. I don't think this is going to get put up anytime soon, but it's interesting that I got this shape. Let me show you the shape of it. So it's got a long angle cut at the bottom and a short one at the top, and then it's chamfered on the sides right here and here, just to give it a little bit of softness. So I think it'll look good when it's done. It'll get painted red just like the roof, and it'll light up the front of the building. All right, next is these lights here. I got the second one completed and they are going to get hung by these all threads. So I made this up. It's just a piece of all thread with a coupling nut on the end, coupling nut here on this end, and an eye bolt. And then it'll get screwed in literally to one of the bolts at the top of the Quonset hut, just like that. And what I did was I put a 5/16 inch nut here that has the nylon washer inside so that I could really jam these two together. So it's acting as a jam nut there. And then the same thing down here, I was able to squeeze these two together so I can just screw this on and yeah, it won't unscrew here or here. So, and then once they're up, I made up just a couple of strings with paracord that connect there, and then they just clip on to that. So it'll hang, this will hang vertically like this, and then the cords will support the light like that. And then the wire that powers these will get fed through this hole here as well, just to support it till it gets to the wall, and then it'll run down the wall to an outlet. All right, I think that's about it for this morning. We'll continue working on a number of these things today, and maybe I'll do another update later this afternoon. All right, take care. Okay, it's Tuesday, August 19th, afternoon update. It's the first time I've done 2 updates in one day for a while, but it's kind of an interesting day. Got some new things done, so let's go inside and take a look. All right, so ta-da! We have a new light. So that is the hexagonal light that I had on the workbench the other day. So that is hanging from these two, let me go back this out a little. These two all threads that bolted to the nuts coming out through the ceiling at the top, and then just suspended with the paracord. And then it runs down with an extension cord and just plugs into an extension cord here. And I've got the other one pretty much ready to go, but I don't have any more of these all threads. This is the last one I have left. Actually, when I ordered it off of Amazon, there was a pack of 4, and that was the only ones they had. So I ordered them, and then since then they've gotten more. So I've ordered some more, and they should show up on Friday, so then I can get this one hung up probably on this end. And then I'll probably order another set to do like the full double or quadruple hexagon in the middle. So that should be plenty of light. It really brightens things up in here quite a bit. I just let me pull the plug and I'll show you the difference. So it's kind of hard to do this with the camera, but there you go. So yeah, I mean there's enough light to walk around and do stuff in here, but when you plug this back in, it really brightens it up. Especially helps to see what's on the shelving units here and in the back. Yeah, it just makes things much brighter. Okay, so more lights coming. And I finally finished up the fan project. It's officially complete. I now have everything on switches. So if I want to put the 2 bottom ones on, I just flip the switch. And if I want to hit the 2 top ones, there you go. So that was a bit more intense than I had originally thought it might be. Not that it's difficult, but there's just a lot of wires to do something fairly simple. These switches here, all they're really doing, let me shut them off so you can hear what I'm saying. All they're really doing is interrupting the hot wire going to the fans, but there's 4 of them, so I had to bring power in at the bottom, and then this basically will just get plugged into an outlet when I get power in the building, and then it comes up here, and then the power has to get split into the second one, and then the wires for the fans come into these 2 boxes, and I had to have a bunch of pigtails going to the grounds and the neutrals, and then the one hot wire on each one of these legs just gets interrupted by the switch. And that's it, really, but there's just a ton of wires to do that. And then this top one here is nothing more than a junction box. It just, this wire didn't have enough length to come all the way down here, so I just added another couple of feet to it, and it's just connecting white to white, black to black, and green to green there in that one. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I can just come in and flip on a couple of fans, however many I need, and get a nice breeze going through here. So that's all I really got done today. And hopefully I can get back to working on these shelving units maybe tomorrow. And the all thread, like I said, for the second light up here should come on Friday, so I can get that one up here and get that one in place. So that'll be pretty good. If I can get that light and another one here, plus these 2 side LED lights, that should really be bright enough, at least temporarily, until I get order the whole middle one there. So, okay, that's it for today. Thanks, bye-bye. All right, Wednesday, August 20th. Not a whole lot got done today, and no Bondo showed up. So Amazon said, my order is delayed. I'm not sure what that means, but it means I don't have Bondo. So no work on the southern side of the Quonset hut with the second coat of Bondo. Anyway, let's take a look inside. I only got really one thing to show you today. This is the second shelf / cart I built. I still need to get, it's going to have 2 shelves instead of this one that has 3. It's 8 foot long, both of them, and it'll only, like I said, I'll have 2, bottom shelf, it'll come up to about 4.5 feet, and have the second shelf, and I get shoved against that wall. And I still need to get the 1/2-inch plywood that goes on top of that. Probably going to make 2 more of those for along that back wall, and maybe 2 more of these for along this wall. It's a lot. Remember, a lot of these stations I have here, workbenches, they're all temporary, 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 you know, and that all is garbage back there, so that's going to get thrown out. So lots of temporary stuff, which will make room eventually for more shelving space. So yeah, that took me about 3/4 of the day to cut and assemble and put the casters on. I was doing some online research on a few things, and I also went into town. I was looking at a lumber yard that's closer than the Lowe's all the way into Funniac Springs, but it really wasn't all that promising. So there's another one in a town called Graceville, which is about 24 miles. I may go check that out tomorrow. Yeah, I'm hoping to, find a slightly closer and better supplier of lumber than having to go all the way to Funniac Springs, which is 37 miles each way. So it's a bit of a haul, but I only go there maybe once or twice a week, so it's not too bad. All right, well, that's it for today, and hopefully Bondo will show up tomorrow or Friday, and then we can continue on with the southern side of the building with the second coat. All right, talk to you in the next one. Well, Thursday, August 21st. Update, not a whole lot happened today. I did go check out another lumber yard in a different town. It's about 25 miles from my door, which is not too bad considering it's all one straight highway at 60 miles an hour, so okay, not too bad. And much better than the one I checked out yesterday. So I think I'll be able to get all the lumber I need from there, whatever I don't happen to pick up at Lowe's when I'm in town. So yeah, I think I'll probably have to get a little trailer because they don't cut 4x8 sheets into 4x4 pieces. So I really need a little trailer to trail behind the Pathfinder to bring in the 4x8 sheets, and then I can cut them here. Okay, so enough of that. Let me flip around and show you a few other things. I was working on the ladder to get up to the top of the Quonset hut, just messing around with this a little bit. I put these stakes, back up a little bit. I made my own stakes, just cut them out of 2x4s and pounded them into the ground. They're into the ground maybe like 18 inches. So they're really in there pretty good. And then this top piece here I put on there just because if I ever fell, I don't want to impale myself. So yeah, maybe I'll break a rib or something, but at least I won't have a wooden stake through the heart. Even though I'm not a vampire, I'm sure that would kill me as well. So yeah, I just, there's a little safety thing going on here. And then these boards at the bottom, I cut to length very accurately so it holds the bottom of the stair in place. And I was able to walk up all the way to the top here, and I think I'm like almost at this point there's enough curvature that I could walk up, but I really think I need one more of these up to like there, and I'm pretty sure I could just step up and walk the rest of the way. So we'll see. That's a upcoming project. I have the backbones cut for these. It's just tedious to cut these out. So another day. All right, moving inside. I got this shelf rack assembled. So there's about, I think it's, was it 3'8", I think here, I forget. So there's plenty of room to store stuff in here and on top. I'm gonna make another one or two of these, but I think I may make them with a shelf like somewhere around here rather than up top, just to give me two shelves with a little bit of room on the top and the bottom. So it's good to just vary it because, obviously there's things that get stored and nothing ever fits perfectly. So you need a little variety of heights and widths of shelves to store stuff on. So yeah, I will be making probably 1-2 more of these. And then this guy stood up here. Excuse me. I got the casters are coming Friday, and I'll probably make 2 more of these to go there and there. So yeah, I think that's kind of all I did today, other than go scout out the lumber yard. And yeah, okay, I'll wrap it up tomorrow on Friday. Talk to you then. One more thing I forgot to mention about these steps here. There was still a fair amount of flex in the backbone along here, even though I had put these mending plates on at every section where they were cut so that they would flex. So I gave this a shot and it seems to work really well. I put the mending plates over each joint down here, and that basically takes all of the flex out of it. There's like no flex. Before I could really flex it quite a bit. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit more confident about that, having removed the flex. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. Talk to you later. Friday, August 22nd. Can't report a whole lot of new things getting done today. Amazon did not show up with any Bondo. Of course, we had some rain this afternoon, so couldn't have done it anyway. However, with the rain, one of the things that I wanted to check was whether or not we got any water where I know it normally comes in. So let me flip this around. Hang on 1 second while I turn the lights on. Sorry about that. Just need to turn the lights on. One thing I did get done today was I got the casters. They came, so I put it on this little shelf unit, and I don't know if I had the casters on this one as well. So casters are on and it seems to be rolling quite nicely. But let me pull this out. And this was the rib where I was getting a fair amount of moisture all in here. And the only thing I'm getting was this little bit of moisture. And I'm not going to say that the rain that we had today was torrential or anything. It was just your average shower. Could be heavy a little bit at times, but it only lasted for maybe 25 minutes or so. So after 25 minutes of steady rain, light to medium rain, that's what I've got. However, we still have one more line of defense, and that's going to be the Flex Seal that goes around the interface between the metal and the concrete on the outside. And that's the one really designed to prevent moisture from going through. The others really are just to get it to the point where we can seal it up. Unless I go with some sort of fillet of Bondo. I've been thinking about that. That's just going to be really tough. The stuff is so difficult to work with, and you can't treat it like a caulk gun and make a nice fillet. It'd be really difficult. So I'll keep thinking about it, but maybe I'll do a little bit of practice on something and see if I can make it work. But I mean, that would be nice, but I just don't know if that's going to be practical or not. Anyway, that's what we have for moisture. And then some other things did come from Amazon, and I got these two all threads set up here ready for where's the other one? There's one. Where is it? Okay, I'm missing it. Where the heck is it? Oh, there it is. We can hardly see it. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So there's one, and there's the other one. That'll hold this light that's now just sitting on that shelf unit. It's ready to go. I just need to prepare the paracord to hang it to it. And I did get another extension cord, one of those little lightweight 16 gauge extension cords to power it. I'll probably put it on a switch over here by the front door. So this one will get turned on by the front door here as you come in, and then there'll be a switch on the back for the other one. Not sure about the middle one yet. Maybe I'll do a three-way. I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out. But yeah, that's really it for this week. I did go into town and get some more lumber so I can start with these other shelf units. This one and this one, I'm going to duplicate them or close to it. And That's all for this week. Talk to you next week.